Salam Aleikum sisters. So today I wanted to share with you a little bit about my story and how I came to wearing hijab. Accepting Islam for me was something that was very easy because Islam gave me what I was looking for my whole life. The truth about the oneness of God was something that totally connected with me. So accepting Islam in the sense of saying that there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Muhammad is his messenger was something that didn't require a lot of, it was not difficult for me. It was something very personal, something that was very internal, very spiritual. But then when it came time to wear hijab, or when I was thinking about hijab, I thought that it was something very much physical, and it was very much a declaration of your faith and what you were thinking. So I wanted to be ready when I decided to wear it. And what I did was I just prepared myself as best as I could, just reading and gathering knowledge. But the more knowledge I gathered, then the more I wanted to wear it. When I was first new to Islam, I didn't really know that hijab was obligatory. I didn't know that it was a commandment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when I did learn, I started just looking more into it and looking more into myself, because I realized that it was going to be a shift in my way of thinking, because I was raised in a culture that regards modesty and being religious and trying to achieve a connection with God. They associate that with older people or people who are boring. And also I was raised more with the idea of if you have it, then you flaunt it, then you show it, then you show everybody. So spending all those years attaching my self-esteem to how many people I was able to impress with the way I looked, and how many people just looked at me, attaching my self-esteem to that just took a little bit of work, because hijab just totally broke that, and the modesty that I'm observing now freed me from that and from relying on what people thought about me for me to feel good about myself. And although I really liked the idea of wearing hijab from the beginning, I think liking the idea and actually wearing it was something totally different. So what I did is I just slowly eased my way into it. I started wearing looser pants, longer sleeves, which was something that I realized then that I didn't really wear long sleeves. Everything was like tank tops or sleeveless things. So just by implementing those small changes, just wearing looser things, then it helped me to take the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And then it came the time that the only thing that was missing was the headscarf. So then that's the moment that I started just like gathering up my strength and getting even more knowledge, so that I was able to start wearing it and feel confident about it. So actually wearing the headscarf, as I remember it now, because it's been almost 2 years, I had a few incidents that just really pushed me over that little edge that I was standing in, of being scared of what people will think of me, and thinking that my life was going to just change drastically just because I put a headscarf on, just because I covered my hair. So well, actually the first headscarf that I wore was a turban. But what happened with that was that the way I was wrapping it was making me look like I was from the Sikh religion. And when I realized that after, I don't remember how long I wore that kind of turban, not too long, when I realized that, I realized that if I'm going to go through the trouble of putting on a headscarf and standing up for what I believe in, I'm not going to end up looking as something that I don't believe in. So I knew that wearing turbans, even though they look very nice, in my personal opinion, they don't really represent me as Muslim. I wanted to represent myself as Muslim. By the time I wanted to wear the headscarf, it was not just the modesty of it, It was just that I was so happy with finding Islam, and I was so happy with being a Muslim, that I wanted to be recognized as a Muslim. I didn't want to have a turban on my head and just to be like, is she or is she not? I wanted to have that representation part of it. So I stopped wearing turbans because of that, and then I just focused on wearing the more traditional headscarf. And one of the incidents, which I think is the incident that I remember the most, and it was the one that just helped to just gave me that last push that I needed. It was one day I had been wearing, like, you know, scarves around my neck and trying sometimes to put it over my head. I was taking pictures, but outside I had not really worn it. So one day I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and the doctor's office was like a 15-minute walk away from my apartment. So I didn't even tell my husband, because I really wanted it to be a personal thing, and I really wanted it to be a decision that I made myself, and I didn't want to be pressured into it or anything. So I didn't even tell my husband that I was doing this, but I went out, and as I went to the hospital, I must have put this scarf on my head maybe like 10 times. I was just like putting it on and taking it off and putting it on and taking it off, and I must have looked so crazy if somebody would have seen me. Thankfully, the way that I walked, it was not very crowded, but it was this battle within myself of what will people think, and I want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then it was this fight within me. And then I just, after that day, I analyzed, and when I was home and I thought about it, I'm like, why am I so worried about not pleasing people? Because in reality, you can never please everybody, you can never please anybody. So I said, why am I so focused on not making somebody else uncomfortable, or not making somebody else just uncomfortable, when I want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one that made me and that gave me everything that I have. And I had just given birth, and I had such a beautiful baby boy. So all of this was happening, and I saw all the blessings that I have, and I'm like, why am I not trying to please him first? So that incident, I felt, even though I felt really bad while it was happening, I realized that it was like the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because after that was that I decided that I was going to wear this scarf and that it was not going to come off. So then after this, I have just worn hijab ever since. I have not taken it off. I have felt moments where I am pressured about it, but I am so happy that I'm wearing it. I used to be what other people might think as an independent woman. I was in the world of pageantry and beauty pageants and entertainment. I was trying to do that, so I was very much what people might call like independent woman, and that didn't give me any peace, any internal peace, any spiritual peace. And wearing hijab and finding Islam and connecting with my Creator has given me something that I never thought I would have. So hijab represents all of that, and it's just an expression of what I feel inside and how happy I am to be Muslim. So summing it up, I say that if you are on a path to wearing hijab, if you don't know if you want to wear it, or if you want to wear it but you're pressured, the first thing is you have to have the intention to wear it for the right purposes. Then just make dua and take action, even if it's small steps, even if it's a little thing. Just I think these three things: just the intention, the dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and just taking small steps, taking any kind of action towards wearing hijab. And not only the physical hijab, but the internal hijab, the modesty that we should be the modesty that we should have with everybody that we meet with, not only men but women, children, just an overall respect, and respect for the creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put around us, and a respect in the way that we treat them, because I think that hijab sometimes gets summed up into just a headscarf, and it's so much more. And even though I'm wearing hijab, outwardly, I'm still working on my inner hijab, and I think that is the hardest one of, like, the hardest part of it. Is not just putting a headscarf can be easy for many people. I didn't think it was that difficult for me, but working on the internal characteristics and working on bettering myself according to the example that our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that the example that he left for us, I think that is the hardest thing about hijab and modesty. So that was it. I mean, I just started wearing hijab. I know that I have a long way to go, but I thought that it would be nice to share my story. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.